There is so much to see. Doesn't matter where you go. We have salt mines.
Okay.
Where we create our own salts.
Wow.
And the history behind that is when the British were in India, they used to tax us on salt. So Mahatma Gandhi decided enough is enough. So he said, we're not going to buy salt. We're going to make our own salt. And there was a great salt march. And what he did was they would collect seawater, they would evaporate it, and they started manufacturing their own salt. So we are going to go to a place that is between Mahabalipuram and Pondicherry.
Okay.
To see that happen.
Okay.
To get a feel. You'll see the laborers creating, manufacturing salt over there.
Okay.
So that'll be exciting in itself.
Cool.
And another wonderful aspect about travel is, people, the way we eat, when people say they love Indian food, sometimes I like to ask them, what is Indian food?
Okay.
Because Indian food is not what you get over here.
Oh, really?
Because you go down south, the cooking is very different from the northern cooking. Northern cooking is more about heavy spices. Down south, they're more into coconut.
Okay.
Curry leaves, but it's light sauce.
Okay.
You go and they eat more fish over there. You go to West Bengal, where I'm from, we eat a lot of fish because we're coastal.
Okay.
And the food that we eat in West Bengal, people say it's at par with French cooking because it's so light. It's very, very light on spices, not heavy. You go to Rajasthan, you'll find that they eat a lot of meat because that's what they have there.
Okay.
A lot of Rajasthanis are also vegetarians. So they have different kinds of vegetables. So every state you go to, there are different things. And because I do a lot of Indian cooking, what is very interesting that I found in my cooking is there are spices that they talk about I never heard of.
Really?
Yeah. And you don't even get them over here. That's what it's all about. India is a very fascinating country. It depends where you go, what you're looking for. Don't go with any expectations. I would say keep your mind open to it.
Okay.
And you'll find everything there.
I can't wait.
Yeah. It's just amazing. But I want to ask you something. You've tried Indian food?
I have.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what you're going to get down south is going to be totally different.
Okay.
So I don't know what you've had over here.
I don't know what I've had over here either. I just asked the server what they recommend and they bring it. I know I do love naan.
Okay.
And I love anything with curry.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's going to be very different. You get, in France, you get crepes.
Right.
In India, we have crepes. And they're much bigger. It's made out of fermented rice.
Okay.
And we get steamed rice cakes.
Okay.
And that is eaten with a very spicy lentil sauce that has a lot of vegetables in it.
Okay.
So that's like a wholesome meal in itself.
Okay.
So that's what you're going to be having. And you're going to have, if you like coffee, South Indian coffee.
Okay.
That'll be amazing.
All right.
Yes. So it's going to be great. It's funny because I had my sister who recently traveled to India. And I asked her, how did you find India after going back after a number of years? And her whole thing was, I never expected India to be life-changing for me. She went to Varanasi and she said to see the people bathing in the water, to see the carcasses, people's bodies being cremated at a distance. It gives you the stark reality of what life is about. There is death and then here's life. And it all revolves. It's an evolution. And she says, I'm starting to believe that there has to be another life after this. It can't just end over here. And she said there is one thing in India that she experienced that you don't get here, is that the warmth. People care. It's a country where, let's say you're traveling alone. There is always somebody out there who'll look out for you. And obviously, of course, there is crime in every country. You have to be careful where you go, who you talk to, how you project yourself in that country. That's what it is. It's an amazing what should I say? It's a place that really changes you completely.
I could use a change. I'm ready for it.
Okay. But it's an odyssey. It's a travel. Your soul goes on a journey. It's a different journey altogether. It unravels a lot about who you are and what you're about, and then you'll see yourself in a different light altogether. That's what it is.
I'm getting nervous and excited just thinking about it.
Don't be nervous. You'll do good. I'll be there.
Perfect.
I'll take care of you.
I can't wait.
But there is one city that I do want to talk about.
Okay.
And that's Hyderabad.
Okay.
It's in southern India. The reason why I talk about it is because there is one property. It's called the Falaknuma Palace.
Okay.
Hyderabad itself is 400 years old, the city. The palace is a little over 100 years old.
Okay.
And the palace is so beautiful. When I went to visit the palace in around 2000, that's when the Taj Group of hotels had just signed a lease. And when they signed the lease, the palace was dilapidated. They had to refurbish everything. So when I went to visit it, I saw the interior decorator sitting on the sofa, and he looked really worried. And I asked him, "Why are you so worried?" And he told me the whole story of what he had to do to bring back the glory of that property. It is just amazing. And if you see it today, it'll blow you away. It's like living in a different world altogether. The opulence, the beauty, and to think that this is how people lived in those days when they had money. It's beyond one's imagination. I don't think even in America we've seen anything like this.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's every room he took me to, he explained to me in detail how he was going to refurbish the room, from the paint to the floors to the curtains. Wow. Every detail had to be taken into consideration.
Wow.
It was really interesting. And the fort over there, what I have to tell you about the fort, there's a Golconda fort there. It was a miniature citadel. And the king who ruled that place, he had built it in such a way the acoustics is amazing.
Okay.
Really amazing. You can be at the main gate, and approximately, maybe I'd say a mile away, if the guard had to let the king know that someone has arrived to meet with him, all he had to do was clap, and the king would hear it, and he'd say, "Okay, someone is here." Another interesting aspect of that place is that there was a high throne, very high throne where he sat on. If I came to visit him, and let's say I wanted to talk to him, even if I pulled out an arrow, if you did this, you could hear it. And the king would know, okay, he's trying to kill me. Immediately he'd run away from there.
Wow.
He'd get up and move away. So it's a very fascinating piece of history that we are yet to appreciate and understand what was built in those days that cannot be replicated today.
Wow.
And if you look at our monuments, they're taken very seriously. People are now taking care of them. And I think we have to give credit to our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. He's doing a great job in trying to revive tourism. And the people who work for India Board of Tourism, trying to bring back the former glory of India, they're doing a great job. They're really amazing. And you'll be getting to meet two of the people who do work with India Board of Tourism.
Great.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
And one of them is a young lady. Her name is Sandhya Haridas. She was the assistant director over here. And you're going to really fall in love with her. She has a lot of stories to tell. Yes.
I can't wait to hear them.
But do you have any questions about India?
Are there any single Indian princes that I need to know about?
Oh my God, now I have to go.
If we're going to a royal wedding.
No, I don't know. Veronica, maybe I should send a message and find out for you.
Perfect, thank you. I don't know. I want to take it all in. I think I'm just, I don't know if I have too many. I mean, the food I'm excited about.
Mm-hmm.
The dress, the way you dress, I'm really excited about that.
Okay.
Maybe I'd like to learn a dance over there.
Oh, you will definitely learn a dance.
Okay.
Over there. Yeah.
So I want to learn that. I just want to take it all in. I'm excited.
That's great because you're going to really enjoy it. You're going to meet with an only priestess in India.
Okay.
No male priest is allowed into the temple they can come, but they cannot participate in the ceremony.
Okay.
They're not allowed to. You will also, we're going to be meeting with somebody from the transgender an organization to talk about their experience. And this young lady, you'll really like her. What I love about her is that she used to work for a Fortune 500 company.
Okay.
She gave it up and decided to dedicate her life into helping men transition into being women.
Wow.
And have them be accepted into society.
Wow.
So that is going to be for me, I feel that's my highlight.
Wow.
Because I'm really excited. That's another form of empowerment in itself.
Yeah.
And of course, I hope you're getting your cooking skills together because we're going to have you cook over there.
I don't know if you want that, but we'll give it a try. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe learn an Indian instrument.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I need to come back with talents.
Yes. But India is also, another beauty about India is, it is said that, you've heard about Kung Fu Shaolin in China, the martial arts.
Oh, yes.
That was from India.
Oh, really?
Yes. It is believed that a Chinese person came to India, learned this form, went back to China, and he perfected that art.
Wow.
It is also believed that a Buddhist monk went to China, and he was good friends with the king, and they had a falling out. So he went to Shaolin, the monastery, and he found that the way the monks were getting very tired, so he taught them how to meditate. He taught them the martial arts, and he really taught them a lot of things. And I would say the Chinese really took it to the next level. But you go to India, it all started there.
Okay.
Another great influence you'll find is when you go to Kochi, we have the Chinese fishing net that we picked up from the Chinese. We learned how to fish that way. So the whole mechanism of how these massive these fishing nets are let down, it's a pulley kind of system.
Okay.
They let it into the water and then they pull it up and they catch the fresh fish that way. So you'll find a lot of, influences that came to India, the Portuguese, the Greeks, we had, like I said, the Mongolians came to India, the Mongols. So you'll find a lot of people when you go to places like Darjeeling, you go to Sikkim, you go to Kalimpong, those areas, Assam, a lot of Chinese influence over there.
Okay.
So that's why you'll sometimes hear, the Chinese they want back some of the land, because they have a lot of Chinese people who have stayed back over there.
Interesting.
Yes, it's very interesting. But we have to say that, I would like to say that it's, for me, what is most fascinating is when people travel, when they look at monuments, they don't seem to realize the effect of different cultures when they come to a country, how they affect the architecture. You'll see some Greek architecture, you'll see Portuguese influence, you'll see the Gothic English influence in India.
Wow.
If you go to Shimla, it was really built up by the British. It's a hill station. So during the summertime, when it was very hot, the British would go up there and they would cool themselves down. You see those homes over there, you'll feel like you're in London. Little cottages, the English-style architecture.
Okay.
It's very fascinating.
How exciting.
Yes. It's like I said, it's like going to Europe. Every state you go to is like visiting a different country altogether. Even our religions same religion, we practice it differently. The languages we speak is so diverse, so many different dialects, but we all speak English. India is one of the few countries in the world where you can travel to and you will never feel lost because everybody can speak English. Whether it's perfectly spoken or pidgin English, they'll still understand you. That is what's so great about India.
Okay.
Yes.
I can't wait. It's going to be a great trip.
It's going to be a great trip. It's going to be very exciting. And it's a country you either love or you hate. But you have to go with an open mind. And you have to accept things the way they are. I can give you a prime example. People say, oh, there's so much poverty in India. We have poverty here in America. We have homelessness. Mm-hmm. We have people sleeping on the pavements. You have that in India too. But I have a very interesting story to tell about my experience with poverty. When I was driving back from Agra to Delhi, which is about 3-4 hours drive, we were stuck in a traffic jam. And this guy in perfect English was asking me for money, and I was shocked. I was really stunned. And I said, how did you learn English? He said, you know what? You give me $10, which is a lot of money in Indian currency. In those days, it was $1 was equivalent to 60 rupees. So $10, we're talking about 600 rupees. So that's quite a bit of money. He says, you give me money first, and I'll tell you my story. And I said, okay. He used to work for the Indian government. And they sent him to America. He got his degree in social services. Went back to India because he signed a contract. He had to fulfill the number of years he had to work for the government. He worked for the government, completed what he had to do, and he right towards the end of his tenure, he was told, we want you to do a survey on the people who are begging. He did a survey and found they lived very well. He went to their homes and they have fridge, they have an air conditioner, they own properties. The reason why they lived poor is because they don't have to pay taxes. You see? So he decided, this is what I'm going to do. And he says, what I make in one day is what you most probably make in a whole year.
Wow.
So, I don't feel bad for the poor people in India, but do know it's a racket for a lot of them. A lot of them. But when you see children begging, most of these kids must have been kidnapped from their parents.
Wow.
And they're made to beg. But those things are changing now gradually. They are changing. People are becoming more aware. And there are a lot of nonprofit organizations that come forth and help these young kids. There is a organization in Delhi. It's run by Meera Nair. She's a very famous Indian director. And what she does, her thing is her organization goes out to these poor little kids, befriends them, gives them a place to stay, feeds them, educates them. In exchange, what they do is that they take tourists and show them how they used to live in the railway station, how they lived, slept on the railway tracks. How did they protect themselves from people who tried to rape? The little girls and the little boys would be raped by the adults, and showed them how they would scavenge for food in the garbage, which was very sad. And you won't believe it, I have my clients do it. I have my clients go on those tours because we need to appreciate what we have here. And I think we take a lot of things for granted in America. And I haven't done the trip, but from what I've heard from my clients, they say it really makes them look, before they throw food out now, they think twice about it. There are restaurants in India where at the end of the day, it is a practice that they give food to the poor people. They don't throw food out. But that's India for you.
Don't they have good tea in India?
Yes, they have great tea. You'll learn to make masala chai.
Okay.
Well, I have to tell you a story about Indian food.
Okay.
When the Persians came from Persia, the Mughals, their food was very bland.
Okay.
So what does an Indian do? They spice it up. So your tandoori chicken, which is actually supposed to be very bland because Persians cannot eat spicy food, we add spices to it. And so that's what it is. So the English cultivated tea in India. And what do? We put our Indian spices in the tea to spice it up. So that's what you're going to have when you go to India.
Perfect.
Yeah. We're going to have spicy. And then...
I like spicy.
You like spicy? And it's what is interesting. I found a recipe for spicy coffee.
Really?
Indian coffee, yeah.
Okay.
So I take a little bit of cardamom and I boil my milk in it.
Okay.
And it has a nice taste to it.
All right. I'm ready to spice up my life.
We're going to spice it up.
Perfect. That's what I'm looking forward to.
India is just, there is not enough I can say about India, really. And it's not, it's funny, when I first came to America, people would ask me, so where did you learn English? And I go, I learned it in India. I went to school. I went to an Irish Catholic school.
Wow.
That's where I learned English. And they go, oh, you learned English in school? Really? And I go, yes. So it's wonderful to come to a country like America, and I'm talking about the 80s.
Okay.
And for people to learn about my culture in those days and to educate them, to make them understand that we have houses in India. We don't live in trees. We don't have tigers roaming around on the street.